Well, episode 9 of the reboots is behind us. Tonight, we're going to review episode 9 of our reboots. Episode 9 saw our first official death in Harmony and Chaos. Heartbreaking death. A lot of people when this episode originally aired many, many years ago, a lot of people were like, oh no, how could you kill Soren? Story, man. You had to sacrifice Soren to get to Rainbow Dash and Sonic, aka Sondash. Anyway, guys, it's getting chilly here in the Midwest. We will not be doing this live stream from the courtyard off my balcony. No. We are back inside the throne room tonight. Right now, I'm lowering the drawbridge. And I'm getting ready to go into the throne room and address you guys. And address episode 9. Drawbridge is lowered. I'll be down in just a few minutes into the throne room. We're going to have fun, guys. everybody. Welcome to the kingdom. I am your host, Michael Evans, VA, creator and pretty much producer, voice actor of Harmony and Chaos. Welcome, everybody. Tonight we are going to review episode 9 of the reboots. You know, the funny thing about the reboots was I originally said I was going to do the first 73. I might go a little further. We might do a few more. I don't know. I know, like, I have the first 73 episodes, like, still on Microsoft Word, so I could just, like, copy paste everything to the PowerPoint. I don't know. I'm still toying with it. I kind of want, like, as many episodes to have, you know, fist bump as the theme song and try to get my VAs into as many of these reboots as I can. You know, with college back in session and everybody back in school, you know, it's hard to get, you know, it's hard to get everything in a timely manner. Some of us are full grown adults when we work. So, you know, I'm finding that I'm voicing these reboots more and more on my own. I'm sorry if I butcher some of the voices, but yeah, I try. So anyway, guys, we get into episode 9. And episode 9, I like episode 9. Episode 9 is like one of the shorter episodes in Harmony and Chaos. I think there's only a total of 4 episodes that are like 35 minutes or less. This is one of that. Well, this was 40 minutes. It was about a 38-minute episode in the original release, but we added the recap and stuff. So usually episodes that are 50 minutes or less, I consider a shorter episode of Harmony and Chaos. This is probably the third shortest episode of the series. Obviously, the first episode is the second shortest of the series. Episode 63, the episode where Dark Oak shows up right before the season finale of season 2. That one is about a 31-minute episode. And then the shortest episode of the series is actually episode 83, which is Sonic 100% Nightmare, which was a season 3 episode. But, you know, as I'm writing season 4, I'm starting to realize it's getting hard to keep these episodes an hour or less just because there's so much story and content that I'm throwing into these episodes. I'm finding it harder as the series goes on to keep these episodes under an hour, mainly because there's just so much going on in them. Brandon Henderson says, I'm an eternal math geek, so I'm predicting it would take you 5 to 6 years to reboot all the episodes you want to redo. You know, you're right, but you know what though, Brandon? The one thing I am finding out about these reboots is a lot of people are actually going back and watching them. I know I would say a good majority of the fan base started coming on right around season 3. Elijah has been with me from day one. So it's actually kind of nice to go back and reboot it for a lot of the new fans who are kind of like, this is a good series, but I'm lost. There's so much going on. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Harmony and Chaos is one of those series where you can't just jump in and not watch the rest of the episodes because there's so much info in every episode that I've done. And like I said, I try to tie a lot of the stuff that we see in season 1 is stuff that is still being, it's still part of the main story in the newer episodes. So again, these older episodes are important, especially for the new fans who are coming on who may be a little confused as to what's going on. Like, wait, Sonic has Alicorn powers? That's not, you guys get it. But again, I will give an update at the end of the live stream on episode 101, 101, which is the episode I'm currently working on as far as the new ones go. It's not done. I will give you guys a somewhat of a tentative time frame as to when it's going to be done. So we get into episode 9. Like I said, episode 9 is a shorter episode. Rebooted, it's I want to say it was 47 minutes. That's with all the added a longer theme song, the prior recap, stuff like that. I think originally it was like a 45-minute episode. So shorter episode, not much really happens as far as, big things yet. So episode 9, we pick up where we left off at the Grand Galloping Gala. When the last reboot episode, Rainbow Dash was having a conversation with Soren. The conversation went from Rainbow Dash telling Soren she was going to be returned to the Wonderbolts to teach the classes, and somehow it got into Soren gave Rainbow Dash a compliment as far as like she's amazing, and then Rainbow Dash kind of said, "Well, I'm glad you still think so after you broke my heart." And then it kind of led to all this. It led to Soren coming clean about lying about his disease and the affair. And as he's trying to explain to Rainbow Dash, what he did and tell her the truth, he winds up having a seizure because of his illness. So we pick up from there. We go back to Canterlot Castle. Episode opens up there with Soren, Rainbow Dash frantic. Starlight offers to help Rainbow Dash. She asks Rainbow Dash, well, what's wrong with Soren? Maybe I can heal him. I can at least heal him so he can, regain consciousness, but I can't heal like illness and stuff, like a mortal illness. Rainbow Dash tells her he's dying of pan disease. It's funny. My boyfriend actually asked me the other night, what is pan disease? I'm like, well, it's the short version of Pegasi anti-nervous or anti-nerve. I forgot what I called it, but it attacks a Pegasi's nervous, like the nerves. So it like weakens all the nerves in a Pegasus body, and only Pegasus can get it. I made this up. I needed some way to, kill off Soren, and that's what I came up with. Yeah, real original. But, anywho, regardless, we made up a disease to kill off Soren. So Starlight uses her magic to allow Soren to regain consciousness. And then while that's going on, Sonic and Pony Blaze, Wonderbolt Blaze, not Blaze the cat, she's not in the series yet, go off to find a doctor. Luckily, there's a doctor at the Grand Galloping Gala. It is an event for, the more elite ponies in Equestria. So, of course, a doctor would be there. The doctor asks, Elijah said it right. I'm glad you remember. So, yeah, what Elijah said in the chat, the Pegasus anti-neural disorder or disease. Oh, you're not late, Lion God, right on time. So moving along, Rainbow Dash winds up telling the doctor what's wrong with about Soren's disease. And he said that, he says that Soren suffered a seizure due to the weakening of the nerves in his brain. Pretty much his nerves are weakening to the point now where he can't even walk, or let alone do normal activity. During this gala, if you remember, Rainbow Dash was kind of shocked to see him in a wheelchair. So the doctor says, well, if this is a seizure due to the pan disease, he doesn't have much time left. The doctor said he can go anytime. 2 weeks tops is what the doctor told Rainbow Dash, and Rainbow Dash kind of freaked out, rightfully so. The doctor said we need to wheel him to a chariot and get him to the hospital so he can at least get looked at and maybe receive some pain, stuff for his pain or whatever. So he asked Princess Celestia, do you have anything that has wheels, like a table or something we can lay him on to get him to a chariot? Princess Celestia says, yes, you use the catering table. So Starlight uses her magic to lift Soren into the air. Rainbow Dash is supporting his head, and they put him on the table. And and they wheel him out to a chariot that will take him to Canterlot Royal Hospital. At this point, Sonic wants to go with Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash tells Sonic, no, this is something I have to do alone. Like, you handled the Amy, like you breaking up with Amy, you handled alone. I have to handle this alone. This is something I got to do. Sonic is kind of, he's not like angry upset. He's just in general upset that he's afraid that Rainbow Dash, he's going to lose Rainbow Dash for whatever reason. So Rainbow Dash reassures him that everything's going to be fine. She gives him a kiss. She boards the chariot and heads off to the hospital with Soren. At this point, Sonic somberly starts to make his way back up the ramp to head back into the castle. This is where we see a little bit of the unhinged Amy, and we'll see it on and off throughout the first season. And Amy basically throws it in Sonic's face as to say, now you know what I felt like watching you. Now you know what I felt like watching you run off on me to go fight Eggman all those times. And then Sonic obviously is very upset, puts Amy in her place and says, this is not even close to the same thing. Like, that guy is Rainbow Dash's ex-husband, and Dash just found out he's dying of a disease. So you can show a little more courtesy and a little bit more, respect to others' feelings. And then Sonic storms away. And this is where Silver tries to give Amy some sound advice. She's already lost Sonic in a relationship sense, like love sense. So the one thing Silver wants to stress to Amy is like, if you keep up with this charade, you're going to lose your friendship with Sonic. And is that something that's worth losing to you if you continue on this way? And Amy basically doesn't know how to move on. If you think about like the time frame of everything, Amy and Sonic have spent the better part of the last, I would say, 5 to 7 years trying to repair their relationship. As we would find out in Harmony and Chaos, Shadow and Amy had a brief fling while Sonic was out on one of his adventures. Obviously, Shadow and Amy didn't last, but when Sonic found out about Amy being with Shadow when he was gone, fighting off Eggman or whatever the case was. So Amy is just having a hard time trying to figure out how she's going to be able to be friends with Sonic. Because when they arrived in Equestria, Amy had every intention of staying with him and repairing their relationship. Obviously, Sonic had met Rainbow Dash, and then they fell in love. So Sonic knew that rather than trying to make something work that doesn't, in his mind, he's needed to end it with Amy. So Amy's just having a hard time dealing with that. Silver suggests to Amy to go apologize to Sonic for her outbursts and for the way she acted and humiliated herself and really Sonic at the gala as well. So, Amy winds up going to see Sonic and apologizes right away for her outbursts and for just being I don't know, you guys fill in the chat, you guys can fill in the blank of what Amy was acting like in that scene. Yeah, I'll call her a brat to be nice. So anyway, Sonic forgives Amy. He basically tells Amy, look, let's give friendship a try. We've known each other since we were kids. Let's give friendship a shot. There's no reason we can't be friends. I still care about you. Part of me is always going to love you and care about what happens to you. We should give friendship a try. And Amy, I don't want to say reluctantly agrees, but she does agree. And she says it's just going to take a little time. She said, but yeah, I agree. Let's try to be friends. And before we go into the opening credits, Sonic kind of just gives a smile and then runs off to go find Canterlot Royal Hospital. The other thing that Amy told Sonic, which kind of is a good thing, and it kind of like motivated Sonic to go after Rainbow Dash in this instant, is Amy did tell him, like, look, don't wait around. Don't wait around for Rainbow Dash. Go after her. That's what I should have did with you. Instead of staying back, I should have been by your side, or at least been with you on your adventures. And that's what motivates Sonic to go look for the hospital. So now that we've reached the opening credits, I'll jump into the chat and see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Brandon Henderson said, don't spoil anything, but if Sonic's dad shows up in Harmony and Chaos and turns out to be whether evil or good, I won't be too surprised. Well, Shadow kind of hinted towards it, Brandon, at the end of at the end of episode 100, the last new episode, titled Philia. At the very end of the episode, Shadow kind of like warns Philia that he does sense their father in Equestria. He just doesn't want to go after him. So yes, Shadow has already alluded to it, that he is kind of sensed his father's presence, their father's presence, and that he's kind of just like watching from a distance. That's back at the very end of episode 100, Brandon. Let's see. Elijah, shocked that I'm live. Gasp! Second senpai. Happy birthday to your sister, Brandon. Happy 16th, sweet 16 to your sister. Let's go down. Elijah says, season 1 is the season with all of the building blocks. Without that, you can't understand the rest of the story. And he is absolutely correct. Brandon Henderson says, he asks, what was the inspiration with making Mobius get destroyed in Harmony and Chaos? Did you regret writing that? I don't regret it per se, mainly because I don't intend the characters to ever go back to Mobius. So I didn't really regret it. If you watch a lot of these Sonic MLP crossovers on YouTube, I feel like everybody kind of does it the same way, where Eggman opens up a portal and then all of the Sonic characters get zapped into this portal, even if they're not even present. Somehow every Sonic character winds up in Equestria by this portal. Meanwhile, it was just Sonic, Tails, and Eggman. So I don't know. It just seems like that has been the case with a lot of the Sonic MLP things. That it's just Eggman opening a random portal. Now, my tie-in with it, I will get into this. Now, if you guys watched Sonic X, Mobius did not get destroyed by the Metarex. I think the Metarex actually did steal the planet egg, and somehow Sonic and his friends were able to get it back. So my inspiration for it was, yes, I wanted the Metarex to get destroyed, but at the same time, I made it where Dark Oak was able to survive Cosmos's final attack when she kamikazed herself and killed herself to try to kill Dark Oak. I had it where he survived and was able to make it off the ship before it exploded. The other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to have it where, yes, they did defeat the Metarex, but the Metarex were able to get off that last blast to destroy Mobius. Knuckles having, if you remember from Sonic X, they actually had Team Sonic and Eggman. They all wound up having all 7 Chaos Emeralds, and they kind of used those to defeat the Metarex. I kind of used that in this regard where Knuckles used the Master Emerald to kind of get everybody to Equestria before the planet exploded. So that's how you saw every character. Any character who had a Chaos Emerald was teleported to Equestria. Eggman did not have a Chaos Emerald. As we would come to find out, actually, I don't even think we. Yes, we in episode 5, Silver actually tells Sonic that Manic stole a Chaos Emerald. Well, it would turn out that Manic stole the Chaos Emerald from Eggman. So that's how Manic wound up in Equestria. And that's another reason why Eggman didn't show up in Harmony and Chaos right away, because he had to travel via his starship or the Egg Destroyer to get to Equestria. So he had to travel to Equestria the hard way. So, but as far as the inspiration goes, I wanted to use, I wanted to use the Master Emerald's chaos control. That was my motivation versus just having Eggman opening a portal. Like we've seen that a lot. A lot of the Sonic MOP crossovers has some sort of portal being opened via Eggman. And I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to go with the Sonic X approach with them using chaos control to get to Equestria. And there's a reason why the Master Emerald, obviously, as we continue on with the reboots, the Master Emerald chose Equestria for a reason. And we know in the future episodes, it's because of the ponies and the elements of harmony and that. So harmony and chaos, the elements of harmony and the Chaos Emeralds are actually of one entity, harmony and chaos. They kind of like balance each other out. And as the series progresses in these reboots, I start to piece that together. And that's how we find out that the ponies were actually from Mobius originally, and they got banished. So again, like I said, everything that happens in season 1 is pertinent to what's going on now in season 4. So again, these episodes are very important, and I'm actually I'm very happy to see so many people. Like episode 9, I think was released technically now 5 days ago, and it's got 300 views. So I'm actually very happy that a lot of people are going back to rewatch these reboots. They don't take me very long to produce. I mean, I could probably get everything onto PowerPoint in like 2 days if I really wanted to. But, you know, I would rather work on the new episodes. So, moving along here. Yeah, Elijah says Pegasi anti-neural disorder or disease. Yep. Let's see. I didn't really get pan disease from a human disease, Brandon. If I don't know. It's I don't know. I kind of made something up and went with it. I wouldn't really necessarily say it was a human disease. I definitely took inspiration. If I had to say that I took inspiration from any human disease, maybe Parkinson's, where it kind of does attack your nerves. I had my grandmother had Parkinson's for 23 years, so it was hard seeing what that disease did to her. So if I had to base a disease off of how I kind of base pan disease off, it would probably be Parkinson's. Yeah. Lion God asks, did anyone here see Sonic X Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings episode 1 and 2? What is that on, Lion God? Is that on Netflix or is that a YouTube thing? What is that? Because I am seeing stuff and I want to watch it. So please get back to me on that one because I do want to watch it. Lion God says it's basically a shadow anime. It looks really good. It looks really good. Like as far as like from what I've seen, I do want to watch it. Brandon says, what? I kind of live under a rock. All right. Lion God says Maria is so cooked. Elijah says, you'll see. No, Brandon. Brandon says, oh, ho, ho, am I predicting a past romance between Maria and Shadow? Nah, no. I think as far as cooked as you actually see her die. Maybe that's what they mean by cooked. Maybe they show the full gore of Maria getting murdered. Brandon Henderson asks, what are your thoughts on G5 being canceled and a possible G6 coming out within the next year or two? I hope that with G6 we're getting G4 back. Because G5 didn't work for me. G5 didn't work for me. I didn't particularly care for the movie. I didn't hate it. But I'm just kind of like, most of the people who were in the movie didn't come back to do the show. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know. And I didn't like the basis that friendship was like dead and all of the ponies are gone. Discord. Obviously, we knew everyone other than Twilight was going to die. But to find out that Twilight was gone too and that there was like disharmony, I didn't care for it. I did not like G5. And then the few episodes that I did watch, and after the movie, I did not care for it. It was not my show. I definitely want to see Friendship is Magic come back. That's just me. Brandon says he's predicting Celestia confronting Grogar and demanding he return Discord's immortality. Going back to Harmony and Chaos with that one. I have not, Plush. Plush asks, hey, what's going on, Michael? Have you been catching up on what's been going on with Shadow Generations? No, I want to watch it. So again, if it's a YouTube thing, let me know, because I definitely want to watch it. I don't know. I hope it's not Netflix, because I don't have Netflix yet. Brandon Henderson says, when Infinite brought back all the changelings, did he bring back Thorax? See, and I still haven't figured that part out yet, because technically Thorax and whatever changelings stayed loyal to him. I mean, it would make sense though for Thorax to come back. Solar says he lives. It's on YouTube. Thank you. Thank God it's on YouTube. I've got to watch that. Lion God says it's on the Sonic YouTube. Awesome. I'm going to have to watch that. Ophelia is going to kill Solar. I know why. I'm not saying it. That's so funny. All right. So, one more comment before I get back into it. Brandon says, at some point, I want you to do a live reaction to the MLP audio drama, The Last Adventure. I'm practically begging you to watch it. It's super duper cool. Tongue twister. Super duper cool or super duper good. I'm going to have The Last Adventure. Okay. I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to check that one out. Solaria says 2 weeks with no Michael on Discord. Yeah, I know. So after we come out of the opening credits, we don't waste any time. We go straight to the hospital. Rainbow Dash and Wonderbolt Blaze are in the room with Soren. Soren asks Blaze to leave so he can have a moment alone with Rainbow Dash. Dash she's obviously very hurt, I don't want to say angry. She's upset. She sheds a lot of tears here, basically wanting to know why Soren would do what he did. Soren tells her it was so you wouldn't have to go through watching this disease rip me apart. Soren did not want to put Rainbow Dash through that kind of agony, watching a disease completely debilitate him. Where Rainbow Dash actually does lose it here is when Soren said, just ask Blaze how much this disease has affected me and how difficult it's been on her taking care of me. And that's when we saw Rainbow Dash let Soren kind of quote unquote have it. Well, she wasn't your wife, Soren. I was. It was my job to take care of you. And in sickness and in health and yada, yada, yada. So you can understand why Rainbow Dash is angry here. Soren tells her, look, I don't expect you to forgive me for what I did. By the end of this, pretty much by the end of this, Rainbow Dash does give Soren her forgiveness because Soren does come clean. He does tell Rainbow Dash that it wasn't because he never stopped loving her. Where Rainbow Dash gets her peace and where she kind of like makes peace with the situation is that she basically now finds out that she did nothing wrong, that it was nothing she did that led Soren to do what he did. The other thing Soren tells her is, you're right. You never would have met Sonic had I not lied to you. Had I not staged that kiss with Tundra, you never would have left me and you never would have met Sonic. Soren tells her, all I want is to see you happy and taken care of. So essentially Soren does get like his dying wish here, where now he sees that Rainbow Dash is happy and is going to be taken care of. So Soren, in his own way, Soren kind of has this inner peace now because he knows Rainbow Dash is going to be taken care of. And that she's not going to be alone. So after that, the doctor's basically visiting hours are over. Soren needs to get some rest. So the doctors basically kick Rainbow Dash, Sonic, and Blaze out for the night. Rainbow Dash requests to come back the next day to see him. Soren says, yeah, I'm not going anywhere, obviously. So they all leave the hospital. Now, the next scene, the team is already all in Ponyville. The team is just getting back on the chariots. So Twilight and the rest of the team board their flying chariots and they return to Ponyville. They land at the wishing well and they land by the fountain in the center of town where they got picked up. So as they land, they start talking about the gala in general. Twilight suggests that Rainbow Dash is going to need support. And lo and behold, as they're talking about Rainbow Dash, you could hear Tails off in the distance, can hear Rainbow Dash flying. And we all know Rainbow Dash has the potential to fly at the speed of sound. So on a normal day, Rainbow Dash is flying very fast. Tails says, it almost kind of sounds like the X Tornado. And Rouge is like, honey, that's not the X Tornado. That's Rainbow Dash flying back into town. I'm laughing at you guys in the chat. Solar's right. I do have to finish an audio drama with her. The Bride of Discord. I haven't forgotten. And I haven't watched it without you, so don't worry. Lion God says he cannot forgive Discord for what he's done. Yeah. Solar says, good, you better not ruin the ending for Michael. In any case, we get back. So Rainbow Dash and Sonic are flying back into Ponyville just moments after the rest of the team gets back. As they're flying, they see that the team has pretty much just got back to Ponyville. Rainbow Dash, being the prankster that she is, decides, you know what? we're going to say good night to everybody, and we're going to do a flyby. So Rainbow Dash does this flyby, and the reason, now keep in mind, they're like right by the fountain in the center of town. So as Rainbow Dash zooms over the fountain, you can imagine the gust of wind that would be caused by Rainbow Dash doing a flyby on this fountain. So this gust of wind splatters all this water all over the rest of the ponies and gets them all wet. And that's why Rarity was like, oh, Rainbow Dash, my main. So in any case, so Rainbow Dash decides to have a little bit of fun amidst all the heartache she went through throughout the night and at the gala. They make small talk here. Twilight wants to know what exactly is going on with Soren. Rainbow Dash tells Twilight, he has pan disease. He suffered a seizure, and she tells Twilight, basically, everything that Soren did to me was a lie. Just so I wouldn't find out about his disease, I would leave him and not find out about his pan disease and have to go through it. Twilight is very upset over this. She calls Soren's acts deplorable, was the word. The last word she used. Rainbow Dash reassures Twilight that it's okay that she gave Soren her forgiveness and that she needs to move on and move past it. So after that, everybody kind of goes home for the night. And this is where we get to the very interesting scene of the episode. One of the interesting scenes. Let me get a drink because I haven't had one in a while. Before we do that, Brandon Henderson asks, oh my God, this chat moved out. Okay. So Brandon Henderson asks, really? Is that canon? Oh, wait, the Alicorn immortal or not? Alicorns are agelessly immortal. I'm pretty sure Alicorns can be killed. We've seen Celestia take damage from Chrysalis. How it's explained in MLP G4 is that alicorns are ageless. They never age and they don't die of like illness and stuff like that. Like they get sick, but they don't age and they don't die from illness, if that makes sense. So Shadow in Harmony and Chaos is agelessly immortal. And Shadow's actually immortal in canon Sonic X. Or in Sonic X. In Sonic in the Sonic series in general. So I used that little nugget of Shadow being immortal and kind of tied it into the whole Alicorn thing. It's not from Black Doom. Black Doom. See, like I said, I know in the canon it's Black Doom that gives Shadow his immortality or whatever, but in Harmony and Chaos sense, we're changing that up. That, and I don't think Archie, I think that was from the Archie comics, and I don't think Archie is canon anymore. It's not considered canon. If it's Archie. The thing about it though is it's like I never, like in like the more modern shows, we never really see Black Doom. He's basically in like a video, he's in one of the games and in the comics. I think he was from the Archie comics. I haven't read every single Archie comic there ever was. There's like hundreds upon thousands of Sonic comics out there. So if that whole Black Doom came from the Archie comics, that was deemed non-canon long time ago. Let's see. More geezer bruising time. That's funny. Michael Collins says, at Lion God, a while back, one of the writers on Twitter said Twilight will not outlive her friends. Yeah, but she is immortal. I mean, Celestia's, I forgot what they quoted, how old Celestia is in the show. Celestia is like over 10,000 years old in My Little Pony. She may actually be older than that. Michael Collins says the Journal of the Two Sisters disagrees, Michael. I don't know. I always thought they were immortal. Agelessly immortal, where they don't age. They age to an extent, and that's it. I know Celestia is over 10,000 years old. Obviously, they live to be a very long time. The good thing, I think the one thing that I do with the immortality and harmony and chaos is I don't make it where they're like indestructible. They can be killed. Like their version of immortality is they're just not going to age and die of like illness. So, yeah, they could still be killed. Obviously, you have a heart and a brain that can be killed. So, yeah, they can still die. They could still be killed. And we've seen Celestia take damage in canon MLP. Let's see. Michael Collins says Celestia's age was confirmed and it's 1,111 years old in the acting episode. Yeah. In the acting episodes. Okay. All right. So getting back into the episode. So, after we go to the next day, and Twilight, you can imagine Twilight getting back to her castle after the gala that night, after the night they had at the gala. You can imagine what Twilight was thinking when she walked into her castle and found and she finds all these wine bottles and like half-eaten food and just stuff all around her castle. So the Mobians decided to have this little, and Twilight knew about the party because the Rouge said something to her at the gala about it, that they had a friendly gathering. So you can picture Twilight waking up the next morning, having to have to clean up this humongous mess, or a mess in general. As she's cleaning, she winds up finding the empty bottle of Dom Pérignon. And the reason why this bottle is so important to Twilight is because it was given to her as a gift from Princess Celestia. We'll just say it was for a birthday, or insert whatever you want to for what the occasion was. I'm going with birthday. Okay, it's Twilight. Twilight had a birthday, and Princess Celestia gifted her a bottle of Dom Pérignon. We would come to find out that this bottle of Dom Pérignon, on average, is worth 120 bits, and it's the most expensive bottle of alcohol you can get in Equestria. It's like Dom Pérignon is what that's coined after. So I made up Dom Pérignon. It's Dom Pérignon is the real stuff, human wise. So Twilight finds this empty bottle, and she literally freaks out and says, "So help me, if I go down in my wine cellar and this is my bottle of Dom Pérignon that was locked in its lockbox, there won't be a Kessel left standing." So Starlight asks Spike, "What is the significance of this bottle? Like what is the significance?" Spike tells her, Twilight, that was a bottle that was given to her by Princess Celestia, and she locked it away to save it for her wedding night so her and her husband can drink it. And Starlight immediately knows, yes, this is not going to end well. So Spike and Starlight follow her down to the wine cellar, and Twilight finds the broken open lockbox that Shadow had, or that Twilight had this display, had this bottle of wine in a protective display case. She sees that the lock was broken off, and immediately she gets very upset. And there's a couple of reasons. It's not the fact that it's just a bottle of a very expensive wine. No, this has more significant meaning to Twilight, and I'm about to explain it. So Twilight storms upstairs and wakes and demands that Spike wakes every pony up. Starlight swears to Twilight that she will replace the bottle. Twilight tells Starlight, this bottle cannot be replaced. This is about trust. My trust was broken. Some pony or Mobian broke into my box. They didn't care that it was locked or that it had value to me. They disrespected me, and they broke my trust by breaking into it. And Twilight's really upset because she's kind of opened up her castle. She's opened up her castle to Rouge, Silver, and Shadow. And Starlight, for that matter, as well. So she's got Silver, Shadow, Starlight, and Rouge kind of like just living there, not working, not providing any support to her at all. She's just kind of opened up her castle to them. And in her mind, she's like, this is the gratitude I get, is somebody breaks into my property and breaks my trust. So everybody comes down. Twilight basically gets very angry and tells every pony she tells everybody to just shut up and sit down and don't speak unless I speak to you. She asks flat out, I want to know who drank my bottle of Dom Pérignon out of that lockbox. And Shadow, for some reason, Shadow at this point gets a kick and he gets a rise out of tormenting Twilight, because Twilight is making him take these sensitivity training with the Cutie Mark Crusaders. So Shadow, at this point, he finds ways to torment Twilight, kind of like how Ophelia torments Shadow. So Ophelia is like the revenge on Shadow. So, okay, in any case, that's why I said, like, these earlier episodes, seeing how Shadow and Twilight evolve into what they are now, it's really like the truest love story in the series. Like, I love the love story build between Shadow and Twilight. It's so, it takes like 36 episodes for it to happen. But like, it's just so, it's really cool to see how their relationship changes. And it doesn't change, like Shadow's opinion of Twilight. See, the thing with Shadow is Shadow doesn't respect Twilight yet. He doesn't respect her. He kind of sees her as this nuisance that is standing in his way of taking over Equestria, or it's like she's trying to like make me some nice hedgehog and I don't want to, like that kind of thing. So it's not until we get to episode 16 of this reboot where Shadow's opinion and whole view of Twilight changes forever. And I'm not going to spoil episode 16 for those of you who did not see it or haven't seen it, but you'll see why Shadow respects Twilight after this. He finally gets to see how powerful Twilight really is in episode 16, and it freaks him the fuck out. Needless to say, because then he sees Silver was not lying when he says, the ponies are a little bit stronger than you realize, Shadow. They're not just some weak, dainty ponies. And again, in episode 16, Shadow gets to see Twilight's power. And he's kind of blown away by it. So as this scene goes on, Shadow confesses to Twilight because he has no problem. he doesn't care about Twilight's feelings here. He does kind of. He does apologize for hurting her, but at the same time, he still silently gets a kick out of like tormenting the poor girl. So as a result of this, Twilight threatens everybody and says, every pony's days of taking advantage of my generosity are over. She gives an eviction notice to Shadow, Starlight, and Silver. Threatens and tells them that they have until the final day of summer, the first day of autumn, to basically get out of her castle and find a place to live. She tells Shadow, you've broken my trust. You and Starlight are in a relationship. You guys should be in your own place to begin with. And she's still very pissed at Silver for Silver making the move on Rarity. So that's one of the reasons why she's kicking Silver out. She's very angry at Silver for that. So she's basically just done having all of these interlopers taking advantage of her generosity, and they broke her trust. So the scene ends with Twilight storming out of the castle, and she kind of just, she's holding this bottle up with her magic, with her telekinetic magic. So literally she turns her magic off, and then the bottle just shatters to the floor, which I thought was a nice touch. It was kind of just like the mic drop from Twilight. So I thought that was a pretty cool addition to the reboot, was the shattering of the bottle, and Twilight just kind of like dropping the mic and storming out of the castle. We would come to find out where Twilight would go, because the very next scene, we go to the center of Ponyville, downtown Ponyville. Lion God says, the mic drop at the end. Twilight became the IRS. Oh, man. I know Lion God was like, it's always the nice ones when they finally snap. That's scary. So the next scene, we go to downtown Ponyville. Tails kind of wants to see Ponyville. Fluttershy obliges and takes him out. That, and Fluttershy likes to shop at the farmer's market every Sunday in downtown Ponyville. So her and Tails go out. It's not a date. As they are going through town, Tails has a couple of questions for Fluttershy. One of the things is about the marks. Tails asks about the cutie marks. Why do the ponies have these marks on their flank? Fluttershy explains the cutie mark to Tails. And they just make some small talk until they bump into Knuckles and Applejack. They go over to the Sweet Apple Acre stand. Tails samples some of Applejack's apple cider, non-alcoholic apple cider. Your straight up cider. Tails really enjoys it. They do a little talking. Fluttershy winds up getting she buys a gallon of Knuckles. I guess Knuckles made the apple cider. So she buys a gallon of the cider and then gets a Dutch apple pie as a gift. As this scene progresses, Twilight shows up, and she tells Knuckles, she tells everybody, Knuckles, Applejack, Fluttershy, and Tails, she basically tells them that she had to evict everybody from her castle because Shadow had stolen that bottle of Don Ponion. Applejack reiterates that she hates Shadow, and that the first impression that Shadow made on her, she'll never forget that first impression of Shadow trying to steal the Chaos Emerald and knocking out Knuckles. So that first impression is still with Applejack, and she hasn't forgiven Shadow yet. Have a good night at work, Elijah. Don't work too hard, bud. So Twilight wants to ask Applejack if she feels that She wants to know if she thinks that Shadow's sensitivity training is actually paying off. Applejack said, well, yeah, kind of. Like at first, Shadow was a little testy with the girls, but the more and more time has gone on, Shadow has actually been a little more attentive to the girls' needs while doing the sensitivity training. So in some regards, like obviously Shadow is good with the Cutie Mark Crusaders, but Twilight just doesn't feel like it's working for him. So she takes that away from him. So now Shadow doesn't have to go through any more sensitivity training. The scene basically ends with Tails telling Twilight that Shadow has changed, and it was Starlight, his love for Starlight, that has changed him, like really changed him. I'm trying to remember what scene comes after that. Oh yeah. After we go from that scene, we go to Sonic and Rainbow Dash flying in the X Tornado. I would think Sonic and Rainbow Dash are pretty fatigued from having a very long night the night prior. So Sonic decides that they're going to just take the X Tornado and fly and get there fairly quick. I mean, Sonic, if you guys recall, the Tornado was originally Sonic's plane, and then he gave it to Tails because Tails fixed it. So Sonic does kind of remember how to fly it. I don't want you guys to think that, why is Sonic flying the X Tornado? Well, keep in mind, Sonic was the owner of the Tornado before Tails took over it. So basically on the flight back to Canterlot, Sonic basically just wants to touch base with Rainbow Dash about how she's feeling. And if she ever did mention, tell Soren that she was going back to the Wonderbolts. She told Sonic, yeah, I did tell Soren I was going back to the Wonderbolts. I did manage to tell him that. Rainbow Dash is very apologetic to Sonic here that their night got ruined. And she promises that when they get home, that she's going to prepare some of Sonic's favorite things, chili dogs, fries, and a night by the fire. Just a romantic night by the fire. Sonic is like, oh, that sounds great. So, I mean, not much really to this scene. It's basically just Sonic and Rainbow Dash. Sonic just basically trying to touch base with Rainbow Dash, trying to just see how she's feeling. Brandon Henderson asks, what airplane is the Tornado based off of? That I don't know. So if that's a question you want a legit answer to, you're going to have, you would probably know that more than I would. That I don't know. I know the X Tornado was made from the Tornado. Oh, the biplane. Yep. Yeah, that plane was originally Sonic's, and then I don't know if it got damaged in a battle or if it just needed repairs. But Sonic promised Tails that if he could repair it, it was his, the Tornado. So after that, I'm trying to think if there was any other scene that I may be missing out on. I don't think there is. So we go to the final scene, and it's at Canterlot Hospital. The scene opens with Rainbow Dash and Sonic entering the room. Commander Spitfire is there. She wishes Soren the best and what time he has left. And she thanks him for his service as a Wonderbolt. And basically gives him a hug, thanks him for serving as a Wonderbolt. And that's basically Spitfire saying goodbye to Soren. Spitfire requests to talk to Rainbow Dash briefly. All Spitfire wants to do here is to give her orders about when she wants Rainbow Dash to return to the base. She also tells Rainbow Dash to make sure Rouge is with you because I want both you and Rouge to report to the Wonderbolts Academy next Saturday. Keep in mind, this would be considered a Sunday. So, like in 6 days, Rainbow Dash and Rouge would have to report to the Wonderbolts base, ops base, and academy. After Spitfire says goodbye to Rainbow Dash, Rainbow Dash and Sonic then go into the room with Soren. There's a little bit of reiteration here from Rainbow Dash with Soren. She wants to be by Soren's side throughout. Maybe not be there 100% of the time, but she does want to visit him. Soren says, you're not going to have time to visit me because you're going to be busy teaching my class. So you're not going to have time to come visit me. So this is it, Rainbow Dash. This is goodbye. Like, this is our goodbye. I'm going home tomorrow to be with my family and basically die on my deathbed. There's a little bit more emotion here between Rainbow Dash and Soren. The episode where the episode really is interesting in this scene, this closing scene, is Soren has that moment with Sonic where he gives Sonic his blessing because he tells Sonic, I see how happy you make Rainbow Dash. I can die in peace knowing that she's going to be taken care of and know that the pain that I put her through did not prevent her from moving on with her life. What was not expected was that once Sonic accepts the blessing, Soren goes and he literally flatlines and goes into heart failure and dies. Right there at the end of episode 9. I added the heart monitor in the reboot. The heart monitor is not in the original episode. I added that. So just some new things that I added to the reboot. So end of this episode, Soren gives his blessings to Sonic and Rainbow Dash, and then he passes. The episode ends with the sounds of the flatline, and we see Sonic and Rainbow Dash standing over Soren and mourning his immediate death right there. So as this episode closes, I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions as to, okay, so now what's going to happen in the next episode? Well, in the next episode, the characters are going to go to Havens Point, which is Soren's hometown. They will go there for his funeral. Episode 10 of the series is titled, now please pay attention to this. Episode 10 is entitled The Cutie Mark Hedgehogs. And I'll leave it at that. So episode 10, when you hear the title, The Cutie Mark Hedgehogs, there's your first steps into finding out the history of the ponies being from Mobius and how the hell could Sonic and Manic have those cutie marks. So you come to find that out in episode 10, which is the next episode of the reboot. Before I go ahead and get into your questions, my stomach is not hurting. I could actually do questions this time. The update on episode 101. Right now, as it stands, I'm going to throw this out there and say episode 101 is going to be the longest episode in Harmony and Chaos history. I am anticipating this episode to go 2.5 hours. So we're talking about as long or longer than a Star Wars movie. Right now, I'm only 2/3 of the way done with the episode, and it's over 200 slides already. And I'm only 2/3 of the way done. It's 200 slides already. So it's a very long episode. It's a lot of filler. A lot of filler. I'm going to warn you guys now. It's a very long episode with a lot of filler. And then we're going to get to the end of it. The end of that episode, which you'll see. That entire episode is going to build to that ending. So I don't know if I'm going to split it up into 2 parts or if I'm going to do a light intermission. I might do a built-in 7-minute intermission so we can all go to the bathroom or whatever, pop popcorn. I don't know. I might build in an intermission there. I don't know. You guys let me know in the chat if you guys want me to add a 7-minute intermission in the live episode so we can all like get up, use the bathroom, pop popcorn, get a drink during that episode. Solar, we're not doing a live voice session. I'm the one that's going to suffer because I got to send the scripts out to everybody. Yeah. It's a lot of voicing. I will send you info too, like, yeah. But yeah, it's Solar's like, I don't care. You want me dead, Michael. I'm the one writing it. It's taking forever. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go on Discord, Solar. I will see. I don't want to be on there for more than a half hour. Because I have not been, yeah, I haven't been sleeping well lately. So if I go on, it's going to be very brief. It's like be like for a half hour. I'm going to get the music rolling here again for, as far as like, let me get the music going for my outro. Oh, I'm going to turn this thing back
on. Power on.
All right. All right, so I don't know. As far as I got my earplugs in the wrong ear. Go figure. So, episode 101, I don't really have a time frame as to when that episode is going to be done. It's been very slow moving. I'm going to say look for it sometime in November. It'll probably be out sometime in November. Episode 101. I know I didn't really do a very long Q&A last time. My stomach was very upset during the last live stream. So I cut it pretty quick. So you guys go ahead and whatever questions you guys have, go ahead and ask away. Solar, you're not going to get the script within 2 weeks. I can guarantee you I'm not going to be done with it in 2 weeks. I was actually going to work on Reboot episode 10 tonight after this live stream. I actually got to eat dinner and cook dinner. I haven't even done that yet. I will say this, Solar. For the VAs, when I do send scripts, I'm giving 1 week. 1 week. Maybe 2. But after 2 weeks, I can't. Yeah. 2 weeks tops. This is, yeah, I know. I have work too. I don't have college, but I do have work. We're not doing live recording sessions anymore. So Yeah. Why do I have a feeling I'm going to get killed if I go on Discord? Oh, so yeah. I know you got a lot of projects. But it's better than voicing in session. We're not doing that anymore. Because that was murder. I'd have a migraine every time we voiced. Like I said, you're not going to get those scripts in 2 weeks. I promise. The episode's not going to be done in 2 weeks. I did not see the Minecraft movie trailer, Lion God. Right now, I'm on countdown to Sonic 3, as I'm sure we all are. Brandon says, at least try a live reaction to one of the many MLP audio dramas. It'll make them happy, and you'll be able to share your audio series with them, and they might like it. Lion God says, oh God, you need to watch it now. You guys are nuts. Okay, so the last adventure. Who did that series, Brandon, if I might ask? Who created that series? Is that Lost Narrator? Lion God says it's so bad. Solar, I thought you would be excited. Your girls. It's your girls. You know, your your lesbian lover girls. Your babies. I know. I can tell you out of the 2/3 that is there, probably 40% of it is me. At least. It's mostly Twilight and Shadow. But yeah, it's mostly Twilight and Shadow. Again, I still have to... We'll talk about this in Discord, Solar. Yeah, see, you haven't seen or heard from me in 2 weeks, and look at what happens. Oh God, Solar and I haven't talked in 2 weeks, and yeah. You know, this is kind of payback for all the bullying. But you're right, I do owe you. Anyway, like I said, Michael Kahn said you really should pay her back for all the bullying. She means well. Solar means well. I'm not even sure if it's 2.5 hours yet. I'm going to tell you, though, it's 200 slides, and I'm only 2/3 of the way done. And most episodes that are like 200 slides, they're about an hour and 20, hour and 10 minutes, hour 20. I can't help it. I told you guys, season 4 has got a lot of content. There's a lot going on in season 4. A lot. I gotta write it all. Again, I gotta make dinner. It's 9 o'clock and I haven't eaten yet. Anyway. Well, so much for working on episode 10 tonight. So much for that. I'll be lucky if I can eat dinner. You're lucky, Solar, that I got to throw the dinner in the oven and it cooks for an hour. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm excited for the Sonic 3 movie. I know everybody in this chat is. I am excited. I cannot wait to see that movie. It looks so good. So good. And I'm going to have to check out Sonic X Shadow. I might check that out while I'm on my break at work tomorrow. And if I like it, I may do a review on that sometime over the weekend. I might review that. The Last Adventure by Ivica. Yes, I will do a review on that as well when I watch it. But I really want to see this Sonic. I definitely want to see the Sonic X Shadow Generations. No, Ophelia, keep that. No, that is truly a faker shadow. That blue shadow is a menace. Oh, Mephiles is back. Oh, shit. I still don't know if I'm using Mephiles in my series. I don't think I could do Mephiles as well as Will Atkinson did the Mephiles saga on his series. It's not me. It's an imposter. Brandon Henderson, all I'm going to say is, yes, who is Mephiles? Mephiles, unfortunately, is the villain, the main villain in the worst Sonic game ever created, Sonic 06. I would recommend watching all of the cutscenes on YouTube and not play that game. Mephiles is, I'm not going to spoil it. Unless you want me to spoil it, Brandon. Plush says, I hope we get to see Infinite return in Shadow Generation and hope he's done right since Sunset Heights is in the game. Brandon says, don't spoil. Brandon, if you're gonna find out who Mephiles is, I would highly recommend just watching the cutscenes. I don't even know if you could still. I don't even know if that game is. You'd have to find a Dreamcast or a Dreamcast that works or whatever. I don't even remember what system that was for. PlayStation 2. You'd have to have a functioning PlayStation 2 to play that game. That and Michael, there was a lot. Michael Collins, there was a buttload of glitches with that game. I could not wait to get rid of that game. I didn't even trade it in. I threw it in the trash. When my PlayStation 2 broke, that game went to the trash. Yeah. Worst Sonic game ever, in my opinion. It was bad. I heard a rumor that they were going to actually remake Sonic 06. I don't know if you're still in the chat, Plush. How do you feel about Infinite and Harmony and Chaos? Am I doing Infinite justice in Harmony and Chaos? Am I doing him some justice? I think Infinite's been redeemed in Harmony and Chaos. I would like to say we've done a good job with making Infinite a badass. And if you think what he's done is dastardly already, wait till episode 101. Mr. Infinite decides to create his own army alongside of Chrysalis's changeling army. And you'll find out what he uses to make that army. Very sinister, very dark, and oh so very infinite. I always put good spin on things. It's always a good spin. Whatever, Fearless. I know. Honestly, this is one of the reasons why I debated on not going live tonight, because I was like, do I want to get suckered into Discord? Oh, man. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here unless you guys have any last-minute questions or comments you guys want to throw out there. Yeah. Like I said, the series continues to grow with these reboots, getting more subscribers with every reboot. So the reboots are doing what they're intended to do, bring in more people. Some of you guys are going back and watching them, which makes me happy. So, you know, I know, Brandon, you want me to do audio drama live. Yeah, I know. Brandon asks, do I think I can reach 600 subscribers by the new year? I think so. The rate the channel is getting subscribers, I think we will. I really do. We're at 578 right now. So it seems like every time I put out a new episode or new content, we get new subscribers. So fingers crossed. I would love to hit 1,000 subscribers by my birthday, April 26th. That would be a great birthday present on my birthday, because then I can monetize, which would be ideal. Who wouldn't want to get paid? Brandon, no, Brandon, no. He says, maybe I'll reach 1,000 subs by the end of the decade. I hope not. I hope it doesn't take that long. But then again, you know what? I did not think that I would have what I have now. I never thought when I started the series I would have 578 subscribers. Some of these episodes are getting, some of these episodes have 6,000 views, which blows my mind that even like 1,000 people are interested. But I do love entertaining you guys with it. It's a hobby that you guys like. It's like it's my hobby that you guys are enjoying. So I'm glad so many people enjoy the story so far and enjoy the series. Brandon Henderson asks, this is a general question for everyone in the live stream. What were your reactions to the I Want to Marry Discord line in season 9 of MLP? I'll let the chat have fun with that one. Michael Collins thought it was just a one-off joke. Oh, man, you guys are nuts. Solar is still binge watching South Park. How many seasons do they got? 28, 29? God, I'm fucking old. That show started in 1997. I was 13 when that show started. 13. I'm 40. It's like The Simpsons. The Simpsons started when I was, 7? 7 years old. And The Simpsons was a spin-off. It was like a skit on In Living Color. And they turned it into its own spin-off. So Simpsons is actually a spin-off. And it's the longest running television show on television. I'm still in shock. Grey's Anatomy is still on. Grey's Anatomy started in 2003. 19. Grey's Anatomy started when I was 19. Yeah, Simpsons spinned off of a show called In Living Color, which starred Jim Carrey, the Wayans brothers, the show that had Fire Marshal Bill, with Jim Carrey as Fire Marshal Bill. Yeah, it was Matt Groening actually would write The Simpsons for In Living Color. That's how The Simpsons got started. Yeah. Anyway, guys, it is now 9:12 my time. I've got to get my dinner rolling here. And apparently go face the gallows on Discord. I agree. You know what, Brandon? I actually agree with that. The Long Live the Alicorn Main Six, aka the Princesses of Harmony. I love that. I don't know how you would make that canon, but I agree. Maybe they become the Princess of Loyalty, the Princess of Honesty, the Princess of Generosity. That actually makes sense. I agree with that, Brandon. Maybe that's something I should do for Harmony and Chaos. We'll see. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. I want to thank you guys for joining me for the review of Reboot Episode 9. I'm currently working on Episode 10 of the reboot and Episode 101. I, again, think that Episode 101 will be done at some point in November and be on YouTube in November. Hey, Solar. Brandon Henderson is speaking Italian. Arrivederci. That's Italian, Solar. Anyway, ciao. Bye, guys.